Oh my God! Are you telling me we're gonna have to do? We got to do this show today,
Dude? I don't. I don't want to do it. Do we? Do we have to?
we need content. I mean, they were the fans want something.
Yeah, but are they really gonna want this?
Well, if they, well, maybe they'll just enjoy hearing us suffer.
All right. Here we go. Let's just start the damn show. Here we go. Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. All right. Welcome in, everybody.
You're going to tell them to pull up a ringside seat. They're going to be mad as hell at you. Oh, my God.
Sit in the back, maybe.
There you go. Popcorn.
Popcorn match.
Take us with you when you go get your popcorn and hit the bathroom. Take us with you.
Yeah, this one is that was just going to be one of those. So our topic for today is
it's necessary.
It is necessary.
Let's give them context, before we crap on it too bad here. I mean, it is a necessary episode because it is sports entertainment. It's professional wrestling. We all know what we're signing up for when we watch, but we don't always get what we bargained for.
No, we don't. And
some of you might not be getting what you bargained for listening to this episode, but please stick with us because I feel like you'll be entertained at some point.
Yeah, so what we're talking about today is the suspension of reality and how far is too damn far.
Just too far. I mean... And again, we're all wrestling fans. Again, nobody listening in the wrestling fan. You're not listening to this to hear the top 100 or the billboards or anything like. So you're a wrestling fan, so you know what we're talking about. Some of those gimmicks, some of those matches, some of that rigmarole that you see on your TV screen one time a week, and you're just like, what in the God's name am I watching here? And you have realized they went a little bit too far.
Yeah, and some of this is admittedly why sometimes you record a 3-hour Raw and you wait 2 hours in and then fast forward through all the bullcrap.
Absolutely. So besides the commercials, there's every now and again there's that segment that after you get done watching it, you're mad that you can't get those 3 to 5 minutes back in your life. And we're going to talk about some of them today.
Yeah, and we're also not going to spare any organization. This goes across the wrestling.
Yeah, because there's a lot of
community.
craptastic wrestling out there to be talked about. So I mean, we could probably hit every one of the promotions, but we only got enough time to get to a certain amount of them.
So a few of the things that we're going to talk about right off the bat here are some match types that just really stunk up the joint, if you will. It's horrible. So the first one, unfortunately, is the AEW death match.
Oh my God, that's number one. Man.
Between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega. They were trying to give an homage to the great Japanese death matches that had been had in the past.
Yeah.
And this one fell flat as a pancake.
I mean, and again, we said there'd be some abuse. You got to admit, looking back at it a year or so later, it was funny how bad it was. I mean, it wasn't funny at the time because what the quote unquote whatever cable company we were dealing with at the time was in the process of charging our credit cards to tell us about how that, we had to come back a month later when we looked at our credit card statement and realized we had paid for this nonsense. But I mean, looking back at it now, it's funny how bad it was. I'll never forget. I mean, we were watching it together. That's what we do on our pay-per-views. We watch them together so we can get a good, perspective for the show here when we record. But I just remember watching it. I mean, you see Eddie Kingston just fall on top of Moxley and just cover his head for safety. Then you see them two damn sparklers go off in the corner there, and you're like, hey, what the hell is that? I'm looking like, oh my God, is that is that a wick? Did they just set a wick and we're going to slowly watch it go up or what happens? But no, those two sparklers went off and then somebody let off a smoke bomb on the floor. And then I think a guy in the third row farted. That was it. That's what we got. Because that's what it came across like, was a fart in church. I mean, that was awful. That was craptastic on a craptastic level. That was horrible.
And again, how this ties into our topic, suspension of reality. This thing was billed as a death match.
Death match.
Obviously, they're not going to go in there and somebody going to die in the ring.
No, but I mean, but when you advertise it as a death match, you think they're going to come this close. Like,
right.
You
like,
literally
super
think
close.
like we're going to be on the precipice of death here.
Yeah.
Not, the 4th of July parade, at the kiddie park. That's what we got. But, oh, my God.
Yeah, I dare say you could have probably had kids on each corner holding a few sprinklers, and it would have looked worse.
Yeah, it would have looked bad. It would have came across better than that. Had you threw 3 colorful smoke bombs in there, like the ones they're using for all these gender reveal deals out there. Had you throw 3 of those in the crowd and had 3 kids stand on each corner with a sparkler, then have 1 kid send up 3 bottle rockets. It would have been a better explosion than what we got at that. But I mean, WWE put on a spectacular show at WrestleMania, with their pyro and all that. By far outweighed what we got in an actual death match, which was supposed to actually, almost kill people. It did. It killed me that day. It killed my spirit for watching AEW pay-per-view. It damn sure killed me on buying them again. That stopped that day.
That did not happen no more.
No. So we have to record. Everything we record off of that is after we get like recaps and all. So, oh my God. Oh.
So obviously, again, they were paying homage to a previous death match that is one of everybody's favorites from Japanese wrestling, and the spot where Eddie came in there and covered was supposed to be, hey, these 2 guys have been at it. They're enemies, but they're friends in the end. Frenemies, yeah. And he was coming to
basically save this man's life because he was going to die.
Save him from a Roman candle.
Yeah. He saved him all right. And again, we're suspended reality here. Could you imagine what they were talking about when that was happening while they were laying there? Because I mean, their heads were right next to each other.
They were probably just sitting there cussing each other.
Oh yeah. Well, after, I mean, those of you who only watch the pay-per-view, it cut off at a certain time, but there was a lot of recordings going around social media about how those guys just got up and just kind of crapped all over the concept.
With John saying Kenny could have paid a better person to rig the ring.
Absolutely. I mean, they tried to, kayfabe it in like, they were just being cheap. No. That was a fail on epic levels.
So let's move on to WCW's example of suspended reality that did not work, and that was the Tower of Doom.
Oh my God. Oh my. So for those of you who sparingly have not watched this, for those of you who blessed yourselves by not turning this on, go to Peacock one day when you got nothing to do. I mean, nothing. This is like, they're like, there's nothing to be clean. You are literally vegging on the couch with, and just staring off into the sunset. Turn on the Tower of Doom match from WCW, where Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage went through the entire Dungeon of Doom. I mean, they destroyed them, plus all the other heels in WCW. Yeah. The 2 of them, just the 2 of them. I mean, the Horsemen were in there. You've got guys who had made a mark on the business at some point in time in their past who were just getting run through by Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. Just the 2 of them. Them 2 guys weren't even really that good of friends, but they found a way to come together to destroy the entire locker room of WCW and made it a match.
It's one thing watching Brock Lesnar go through 13, 15 guys in a Rumble. It's one thing watching that going, yeah, that big old hoss could really do that, probably. Yeah, I could see that happen.
Well, and in a Royal Rumble, he was doing them one at a time.
Right.
One at a time for 26 minutes, looking at Brock Lesnar. Completely believable. The Horsemen, I mean, or that Tower, they were coming like 5 to 6 at a time on each level of the cage, and it was just Hogan and Macho Man, and they were dominating. It didn't like they were just skating by, like they just snuck through.
So what you're saying is Hogan had some special vitamins that night?
I mean, I don't know what they had going on here. We heard a lot of rumors about what them 2 did with their, with their marital situations and all that. So I don't know what they had going on that day, but whatever it was, there was a lot of training, saying of the prayers, eating of the vitamins, and believing in yourself to get through that.
Yeah, and that was a horrible match. So horrible, I really ain't got nothing else to say about that.
I mean, no, but let's completely be honest. Anything WCW related that doesn't have the letters NWO in it we could almost talk about all of that stuff in there. There were so many things in WCW. We just tried to pick the one that was the least believable.
Yeah.
Not the most craptastic, but the least believable. That's the one we tried. We settled on for WCW.
So, WWE, you have not been spared. You have had your shares of times where I just look at my screen and go, nah, I don't believe that.
Oh, my God.
And the one that comes to mind is Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon in the limo ride of death.
Yep. Got filmed on TV. Wasn't that convenient, man?
Yeah, convenient.
That we just happened to be watching. I'll never forget Paul London just laughed like as he was walking by, because London was like, what the hell am I about to sit here through? I can't believe this is going to happen. And you see Vince get in the car, then you see him look right before he gets in again. Then they go to a widescreen for some reason, where after you saw Vince getting in the car, all of a sudden you don't see Vince in the car no more, but you see the car look like it's getting pulled in by a rope.
Yep.
I mean, it looked horrible. Just the aesthetic looked awful, as if we didn't already know what was happening. And then the limo explodes, and it's like, okay, I mean, I'm just sitting at home. I'm like, why? That's all I can say coming out of it is why. I'm like, no, this isn't real. This isn't even sports entertainment. This, at this point, is who shot JR. It's
You could have been a casual fan and then looked at that and go, yeah, he wasn't in that limo.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, and then to make it worse, I mean, and not to rain on a craptastic situation with bad real life stuff, but to make it worse, then the whole Chris Benoit tragedy happened, and damn, the Vince did have to pop up on TV the very next Monday and go through how all of it was fake and it was just for TV, and now we're going to have a tribute show to somebody who actually really did do crazy stuff.
Yeah. It was supposed to be the death of the character, Mr. McMahon. Is what it was supposed to symbolize.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, when Pillman pulled the gun bit, that was believable.
Yeah, it was believable enough that USA told him, "You'll never do that again on TV."
Right. So the fact is, they've, wrestling companies throughout the years have had their share of bits where you're going, was that supposed to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're left wondering.
Yeah.
The limo explosion was not one of them.
The limo explosion was definitely not one of them. So as we were sitting here, I just came across the old Katie Vick angle, and
oh God,
I mean, that happened.
Oh my God, no,
that happened. That
no.
We were watching TV.
I don't know if we can go into that, Frank.
We're not going to go that deep into it. So we're not going in as deep as Triple H did. That's for sure.
Oh God, I'm about to throw up in my mouth.
Again, we're sitting there watching it. And, okay, we're trying to expand the character of Kane. We're doing whatever we're doing. And somehow or another, that made TV. I mean, that happened.
All right, if you're going to bring up Katie Vick, I'm bringing up Mark Henry's The Hand.
The hand. Oh, my God. So the whole Mae Young deal. And I mean, we saw The Hand not too long ago.
We did.
The Hand made his WrestleMania re-debut. And I mean, so that was good. It's good to know that he's doing okay now. But yeah, again, so suspended reality, and before we go too much farther, let's obviously put the disclaimer out there. It's professional wrestling. It's sports entertainment.
Right. The
minute you turn on the TV every single time, you have to suspend a certain amount of reality.
You do, because I mean, the fact of the matter is, granted, what these wrestlers are doing in the ring, there's no way that I'm going to sit here and go, oh, it's fake. It's no.
I hate that. I hate hearing that word.
You have to be.
It's the easy out.
Yeah, you have to be a certain level of athleticism.
Yeah,
but you also, as a fan, have to suspend reality. Going, I sit here and watch this girl get punched in the face for 20 minutes and she ain't got one bruise. So there has to be a certain level of suspension of reality.
Yeah. So, and we're so we don't want people to think, oh, we want it to be MMA. No, we want it to be what it is.
Yeah.
We just don't want the crap.
Right. So. I don't want the crap. Now, granted, I mean, obviously you're going to try things and you're going to fail. Like the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. So,
yeah. But I mean, I'm sure they cashed a mighty big check.
Oh, absolutely. That, so. Mountain Dew gave them all kinds of money.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to take some of those losses. Oh, what about the Dave Bautista match? With the Miz where they were promoting the
zombies?
The zombie movie or whatever. When zombies came out.
God, no.
So again, that they got a big check for it. They helped endorse, a Hall of Famers movie. Okay, yeah, great. But we had to sit through that.
Let me, as a fan, work on suspending my version of reality, watching Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, see.
Let me suspend my reality watching The Rock versus John Cena.
Yeah.
Don't make me suspend my reality watching zombies chase The Miz and Batista. I don't want to see that.
No, definitely not. I mean, I could say, if I want to suspend reality, I could say, okay, let's put on the Steamboat Savage match or the ladder match with Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon or Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Yeah, they're not killing each other. They're not, let me suspend reality to a certain point and just be able to get immersed in the match and enjoy what I'm seeing. Don't put something on TV that's just so awful that I resent being a wrestling fan at the time, because that's where that negative stigma comes from. Wrestling fans long and away have always had that negative wrestling stigma that follows them around of, oh, you're a wrestling fan. Oh, that fake stuff, blah, blah, blah. And those of us who are fans, we're listening like, no, if you understood the mechanics, if you understood the drama, if you understood the story, you could appreciate this. But people who aren't fans aren't going to take the time to get that invested in it. But see, that kind of stuff doesn't make it to your sports centers and to your TMZs and all that. It's the crap that gets there. And then, you're walking around with a T-shirt on of this guy who just, Katie Vick somebody the next day, and you're like, oh my God, I can't wear this shirt anymore. Now you're embarrassed to be a wrestling fan. And that's the part I hate about it.
I'm gonna have nightmares tonight about Katie Vick's storyline.
I won't. So we just recently watched the Hall of Fame, and I saw Stacy Keibler get inducted in there. So if I'm gonna have any dreams tonight, they're gonna circulate around that somewhere. Ain't me dreaming about no Katie Vick tonight.
So we'll move on to our next one, where you have to suspend reality. Some of these backstage or off-site vignettes that get shown to us. Oh my God, where do I start? Obviously we talked about the Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, the Steiner brothers, that whole
when the Steiner or when the NWO ran the Steiners off the road, you mean?
Yeah,
when they ran them off, they killed them.
I mean, killed them dead.
And apparently the WCW execs went crazy about it. They're like, well, you'll never do that again, blah blah blah. But I mean, so you had that kind of crap there, but there were other instances where the NWO were jumping guys in the back, and the residents of the area that were watching on TV literally called the police because it looks so real.
Yep.
That's the kind of suspended reality that I love. Now, us wrestling fans who knew the NWO story, we knew all that was story, and it looked great. It was amazing. But the casual fan who just happened to turn on the TV because it said, oh, we're in Panama tonight. I live in Panama. I'll watch the show. And they saw that. I mean, these people literally called the police on the wrestlers and sent them to the arena because what they saw, they thought was real.
It was real. Yeah, and then there's been some vignettes that have happened throughout the years that make you go, And then there's some that was done really, really well. Triple H, Randy Orton, that home invasion.
Oh, yeah.
That was done really good.
Yeah, watching that again. If you're the casual fan and you're living out in St. Louis where Randy Orton lives, you may have called the cops that day and said, hey, my neighbor's getting his butt whooped over next door. And they're taping it, for Christ's sake. What's happening here? That was done good. But then, then you have so many of the other ones that were executed so poorly that, it makes those good ones pale in comparison because nobody remembers the good ones.
Talking about Dexter Loomis in Miz's house.
There you go. So now you got that. Another one, the house deal. They like doing the house deal.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, when he was in Edge's house, now that was actually done
that was
pretty
good. That was good.
That was done really, really well. But then you got the other ones where like Otis and Mandy are in Otis's house or Mandy's house. And then you're looking like, you look at these two, you're looking at Mandy Rose, you're looking at Otis. That ain't believable.
Something ain't right.
I ain't suspended my reality that far down the road.
Something ain't right.
Somehow, although as we say that, Bully Ray's somewhere listening right now thinking about when he was dating Velvet Sky, like, hey, I could do it. But again, but that's Bully Ray. You know, everybody ain't gonna be him. So,
Oh my God, you went to Bully Ray.
everybody ain't got that kind of luck. I mean,
No, they don't have that kind of
everybody
luck.
ain't got that kind of luck.
Bully,
you know?
Bully, you are amazing, sir.
Yeah,
you are amazing.
I don't know how. I don't know how. You don't know how. So
No.
I was gonna say you need to tell people. You know, this needs to be one of his podcasts where he educates people on how to do. He don't know how that happens.
We salute you, sir.
Absolutely. God bless. I have a drink for you here. What on you?
Absolutely. So we will go into our last bullet point of this topic we really weren't enthused about, but actually has turned into kind of.
I told you it would be fun. I told you we're gonna end up laughing.
Yeah.
You know, the laughs you get out of it are way more fun than the thoughts.
But this one we're going to turn into the bad gimmicks that we've seen along the way, and how we've had to suspend our reality in believing them. And you know, we were talking about this, and the first one that popped up was Glacier. Trying to suspend reality.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah. First off, Sub-Zero came to life.
Yeah.
And then he came to WCW, and he was just a crazy, martial artist, which he really was a martial artist.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. Let's be honest. They put a lot of money into it with the snow and the effects and the laser lights for mid to late 90s. I mean, that was quality stuff. You know, that was kind of like what the NBA was doing for their team's interests. So, I mean, they were on the cutting edge of technology for the 90s, but fact of the matter, they were about 5 years too late on that gimmick. So the original Mortal Kombat came out in 93, 90, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo era.
It was real early.
And Glacier came out in 96. By that point, they were already up to MK2. I mean, so the Glacier deal had its time had passed. And they were already working like their NWO angle. They were working more of their reality-based wrestling and all that. Well, now you bring in a cartoon character from the old WWF days. How the hell is that going to work? Now, you got Scott Hall and Kevin Nash beating guys with baseball bats in the back and lawn darting poor Rey Mysterio Jr. into the side of a truck. But now you're telling me when this particular guy comes in the ring, it's snowing and he's, and he can shoot fire from his hands and fatality. Come on now.
Nah, we can't go that far.
No,
I can't suspend my reality.
91, 92-ish. Yeah, that guy would have been huge.
Yeah.
96? Oh no.
Then you go into some of the 80s WWF characters where
how much time do we have?
Not that much time.
Okay. So I can put this long folding list up.
Yeah, we
this
put
little phone book list I got over here.
We can generalize that in the 80s WWF. Everybody had to have a job.
Got to have a job gimmick. So let me tell you, when I sit down to watch TV, and this is across the board. When I'm sitting down to watch TV, it damn sure ain't to watch people doing the job that I just did all day.
No.
So
I don't need to see a garbage man. I don't need to see a construction worker.
I don't need to see a plumber. I don't need to see, that's the stuff I just dealt with all day. I'm sitting down to relax and watch TV to get away from all that. Not to see another guy do my job worse.
Poor Kane saddled with Isaac.
Oh my God. Isaac, I yank him. From what he said on his documentary, apparently Vince was in love with this gimmick too. Apparently that was from what I've heard, that was an old Bobby Heenan gimmick. I yank him, that he would always come out there. So they had to come up with an I name, but he was a dentist.
Yeah.
Although that beat Fake Diesel. I'd have rather been the dentist.
I'd rather been the dentist.
Yeah, in that world, I'd have rather been the dentist. So, I don't know.
Yeah. So I can't believe we made it through this episode.
We really wanted to do it for you guys. You can tell our enthusiasm throughout the whole episode. We love this episode. We love this topic.
But as we stated, earlier in the podcast here, you do have to have a certain level of reality suspension in order to be a fan of professional wrestling. But at the end of the day, it's all about how it's progressed through the years. And there is still some crap that gets thrown at us as wrestling fans, but I will say there's more good stuff that gets thrown at you than bad stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. You're always, again, like you said earlier, I think you said it best. You got to try stuff.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to stick until you try stuff. But it just seems to me like when you're in the back, you're in that Booker's room, like we're in the Booker's Alliance. We're here in the studio, we're here doing our record. we sit down and look at the topics, and we discuss the pros and cons. We discuss the topic in general. We want to see if we've got enough material to make it last a certain amount of time. B, can we make it interesting? Can we make it funny?
Not a sponsor.
There you go.
Blue Chew, not a sponsor.
We're trying to find a way to make it interesting. So we come up with stuff.
Right.
My thinking is when you're sitting in the back and you're saying, we got to really come up with something. We really want to catch something that grabs you. And then you come up with some of the stuff that we talked about today. It seems like one of the heads in that room would say, "Hey, you know what? No, let's not do that. Let's do anything but that." But
it's unfortunate though when you get a bunch of yes men and then
that's exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah.
What the problem is when you get one guy who's got more power than everybody else, who gets an idea in his head, and nobody's willing to stand up to that guy and say, you know what? This is going to suck. It's going to suck ass. It's not going to be good. And they just say, hey, we can make that work. We'll do it because you liked it. You're going to get this kind of stuff. So luckily at the Bookers Alliance, we're a 50-50 partnership. We don't, there ain't no one guy running the show and the other guy's just kind of there. So if one of us has an idea, the other one thinks it sucks, the other one's going to say, hey, that sucks. We're not going to do it. And if we do it, we got to find a way to make it hilarious. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're going to wrap it up today, everybody. We got old Papa Trips over here calling, as a matter of fact, to try to rescue him out of some of these sucky storylines that are still hanging around.
I'm sure Tony Khan's got his lawyers on the phone right now.
Got that right.
My goodness.
All right. Everybody, thank you for listening to the Bookers Alliance podcast. And with that, we bid you adieu.
Peace.
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for the Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.